starts already. The comments. I'm a bootlicker. Oh boy. Oh boy. Bootlicker. Yep. Welcome everybody to Critical Mass with me, your host, Patriot Rob. So the first announcement is the Patriot Rob thing is probably in the next couple of weeks going to get dropped. It's not because I'm not a patriot. I just, while down in D.C., probably being part of one of the greatest honors of my life, walking with Ashley Babbitt's mom and meeting all the J6ers and talking to them, we recorded a video for a song. Now, I'm going to quickly explain the song. The song is called We'll Have Our Home Again. It is a metal cover. I wrote all the music to it. The lyrics are not mine. They're from a group out of Maine called the Pine Tree Riots, or Pine Tree Riots, however they want to describe themselves at that moment. So originally the song had no music other than a bunch of drunk dudes just banging on tables. And it's a great song, and I'm sure everybody's heard it. And I got inspired about a year ago to start. I wanted to write it's not really a metal version. All right, so I don't want to put people off to it. It is a rockin', I would say, Viking drinking song. And it is as pro-America as it gets. And I had some really killer people in front of the Capitol singing the chorus. It's part of the video. We're continuing to film the video. We are going to be filming a major scene here on my property in New Hampshire because what I'm planning on doing, you can only get away with doing here in New Hampshire. So to reflect the song, and when I release the song, my new moniker is going to be the Granite State Rebel, if you can see it on the hat, Granite State Rebel. Just, advance warning to people. It'll still say Rob, but it'll say the Granite State Rebel next to it. I think the Patriot thing is played out. Too many people who aren't patriots are using that, and it just, I don't know. It was one of those things that when I came onto Twitter, I just put, because again, Antifa likes the docs, and everybody knows I have kids, and I don't want anything to happen to my kids, but so it was just what I can think of at the time, and it just stuck, and everybody knows me as Patriot Rob, and I would just rather be Rob. The other thing is, it wouldn't be a Critical Mass episode here at the Warboy Studios if I wasn't having technical issues, which I am. My camera, for some reason, I have like 5 lights behind it right now, and it's really dark. It's deciding to, it's getting brighter and lower and brighter and lower, and it is what it is for now. I'm going to have to go through and look at the menus. But some of the video we're going to film here on my property in New Hampshire, and we are going to do, I think we're going to try to get up Mount Washington, but I think this time of year is going to be absolutely impossible. I remember I went up it on my motorcycle last year, or the year before. Yeah, 2 years ago. It was July 4th weekend, which is impossible because all the out-of-towners that are here going up Mount Washington having no clue what's going on. And it was like 95 at the base, and it was 32 at the top. I mean, that's how cold it was in July. So I doubt I'm going to be able to get up there now. But I would like to be able to film some of that. We're going to be filming on a highway called the Kangamangas. It is one of the most beautiful spots in all of the country, period. In October, when the leaves change, it literally looks like the entire forest is on fire. It's the coolest thing. So we're going to be doing some filming there. So there's that. The filming we did in D.C. was awesome, and the people, I want to thank everybody that was a part of the video shoot down there. It was just an amazing, I've been a musician my whole life, and now for the first time in my life, I'm shooting a video for a fucking song that I wrote ish. Next thing. So we have a space going right now. If you go to at the Rob 1772, you will join in on the conversation. That would be awesome. And my co-host is Winona, and I want to thank Winona very much for being my co-host. And, you know, everybody that listens, everybody that's watching, all you guys that have supported me this entire time doing this, you have no idea how much it means to me. So we're talking about today about the Minnesota Madness, but I wanted to start off with bragging about New Hampshire again. I know you guys ad nauseum with me with this New Hampshire thing, right? But you guys got to understand, Rothmus put something out about the 7 states in New England not having any Republican representation, and unfortunately, my state is in that. And by the way I speak about New Hampshire, that you guys have heard, that you wouldn't even think that's possible. We don't think it's possible. We have 4 of the worst congressional representatives in the country coming out of this state. Maggie Goodlander, the instigator of the seditious 6. We have Chris Pappas, who is, by all accounts, a nefarious piece of garbage. We have Jeanne Shaheen, which thankfully she's not running again in 2026. She's done. And we have we got Maggie Goodlander, we got Pappas, we got Shaheen, and the other one, Hassan. Oh God, damn. So, but these people were also voted in by the same people that voted in an overwhelming majority of our state reps. Like, we have a Republican House, we have a Republican Senate, and we have a Republican governor. Now, Kelly Ayotte, I'm not a fan of. Well, I wasn't a fan of. I have to say, other than this trans girl in sports thing, which I don't know why she's dropping the ball on this. She is absolutely 100% dropping the ball on this. It is what the Granite Staters want. We want this done. We want no more trans in sports, period. End of story. We don't want it here. Our representatives are telling her that. She vetoed a bill, which we still have no clue. And I honestly think that is the Massachusetts influence. So anyway, there was another gentleman during the primaries that was running for, Republican, and he would have been, I believe, a much better governor. That would be Chuck Morris. He lost in the primary, and then it was up to, it was between Kelly Ayotte and the mayor of Manchester, and this woman would have destroyed this state. She would have turned New Hampshire into Massachusetts in 4 years, easily, like that. I think she would have done it in a year. She absolutely destroyed the city of Manchester. Now, Manchester has always been, the joke about Manchester is we call it Manch Vegas. It's a city. It's a very depressed city, and she went in there and made it worse. Absolutely 100%. And she was running for governor. The fact that anybody would vote for her is beyond me. So me doing the thing that I do is I'm going to make sure that the Democrats do not get a stronghold in this state. I voted for Kelly Ayotte begrudgingly. And I think most of us did. Most of us were like, oh, God, none of us. Well, all right, I can't say that. I'm sure there were people that voted for her in the primary that were like, all right, Chuck Morris doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell. I have to vote for the name. And then there were people who were, there were some people who were, yay, Kelly Ayotte. Because it's very hard to be a staunch conservative like Chuck is, and a very pro-MAGA one here. You kind of got to be a milquetoast. I'm not talking straight out rhino, but you got to kind of be a milquetoast. Hi, Serena. Grab a mic if you want, kid. You kind of got to be a milquetoast Republican here. You can't be really, really, really like out there, Western civilization is all and America first kind of thing. It doesn't resonate with, the major population centers. They just want a Republican that stays quiet and make sure that we don't have our income tax and our sales tax. So if you're as open about being, Make America Great or America First, like Chuck Norris is, unfortunately, you're not going to win. Which is a shame, because I think he would have done great for the state. But Kelly Ayotte has done... I'm so surprised. I'm blown away by, I would say, about 90% of the things that she's done. I am very happy about this. I'm very happy about the things that are going through. We have a representative right now. His name's Sam Farrington. I'm trying to get him on the show. I want him to talk to, like the actual show, and then you guys could talk to him. He put forth a bill for campus carry. Now, New Hampshire is the only state in the country that does not have any laws revolving around carrying in schools. Like I go to my son's football games and wrestling matches, and I'm carrying. There's no issue with it. There's no issue with teachers carrying in school, and I feel that my son is safe. We are the safest state in the country. There is a reason for that. There's a multitude of reasons for that, not just one. One of them is the fact that we have constitutional carry here, and just about everybody that you see that lives here is carrying a gun. The shit that's going on in Minnesota would never, under any circumstances, happen here. Our BLM, I remember when the Summer of Love, the BLM right now, if you go to there's a page on X called Lake Winnipesaukee, and he's in that area. I think he's in the Alton area, which is right on it's Alton Bay. It's right on Lake Winnipesaukee, and he drives by, and like Wolfboro is a I would say an upper class, richer white town, and the BLM and quote unquote Antifa there are all geriatric people. I think there's like 13 of them, and they stand out on the road on Route 28 and just yell at people and try not to have a heart attack and die. But that's like the extent of like the BLM or the Antifa here in New Hampshire. Portsmouth is a little bit different. They have a lot of people. They bus people in from Boston, and we've seen it. I got video of it. They'll bus Antifa in. Yeah, BLM is stupid, Salty Patriot. But the quote unquote, like when BLM, I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago, the BLM wanted to have a like a bake sale at the library in Concord, and it was all like geriatric silverbacks. So I mean, it's not like they don't come up here and fuck around. They do not play this shit. Even in a city like Portsmouth, none of that shit. The Portsmouth cops would shut that down. The New Hampshire State Police would shut that down. Yes, geriatric Antifa. That's exactly what it is. That shit would get shut down fast. It doesn't matter what we're not playing here. People don't play. The stuff that's going on in Minnesota, actually, the stuff that's going on in Minnesota can't happen here, because right after Kelly Ayotte got in, a bill was put on her desk saying that and she signed into law saying that our state police and our sheriffs are duty bound to help ICE get illegals out of the state. And then she just recently signed a bill stating that it is illegal to be a sanctuary city. Very few states have done that. Very few states have pushed back against. And it just reminds me of when Sununu was in office, when the Biden administration was trying to dole out money from all of their, from the spending bill, trying to force states like mine that don't have red flag laws to enact red flag laws. And Sununu was like, yeah, no, not happening. Sorry. So, and also as far as, sanctuary states, we're the only one in New England that's not. So again, we're not putting up with this shit here. We're not playing games. We are the safest state in the country for a reason, because we don't play the games here. And the other thing too is the citizens won't put up with it. Like, you will see, if anybody ever tried to pull some bullshit like that in Concord or in Salem or in Nashua or in Portsmouth, you would literally see the citizens of this state band together, go down there, and it would be done in an hour. Like, we would literally put our boots down on these motherfuckers and be like, no, it's not happening here. The shit that's going on in Minnesota is out of control. Now, I was in a space yesterday with Joe Lanu. Most of you guys know Joe. And Joe's a very positive person. I would think that I'm a positive person, too. Most people call me black-pilled. That's because when you're black-pilled, you're talking about reality and not looking...
a cop lover.
Yeah, I got called a bootlicker, Jeff. Hang on, Jeff. I'm just doing my monologue, and then I'll get to you guys. Just give me a minute. You threw me off, dude. You threw me off, brother.
We'll talk about Joe.
Yeah. Go ahead, laugh, Winona. Laugh. This is the thing with a live studio audience. Oh, thanks, Jeff. So I was saying that stuff won't happen here. The New Hampshire citizens would squash that in an hour. What's going on in Minnesota? Oh, yes, I was in Joe Lanu's space yesterday when we were talking about this, and he's a very positive guy. He doesn't believe that this is going to get or be as bad as the Summer of Love. And I had to explain to him, from me in my years, my decade of experience with, well, my experience with Antifa goes back to 2000. I've told the story to some people haven't heard this. I'll just quickly, when my band was playing at this place called the Middle East in 2000, it's in Cambridge. We were all in the green room. Now, the green room, yeah, it's the winter of woe. The green room in the Middle East is not what it sounds like. When, like when you say, oh, I was in the green room, you think of this lavish. No, this was a closet where like 15 sweaty dudes were smoking cigarettes and drinking beer. It was not a pleasant place. So we're in there, and we hear a ruckus outside, and it was before the show started. And patrons were saying that there were people outside fucking attacking them. And we were like, what the fuck is going on? We're at a metal show. This shit doesn't happen here. It's not a rap show. And they're like, yeah, they called me Nazi and shit. And I was like, what? So we go outside. Now my hair is like down to my waist at that time. And I'm wearing these spiked gauntlets, like real spiked gauntlets. And I go out there. Yeah, I look like a typical metalhead. I go out there, and there's these people that are literally identifying themselves as Antifa, beating on patrons because they believed that they were going to see a Nazi band. They thought one of the bands on the bill, not my band, one of the bands on the bill was a Nazi bill, and they were attacking people for coming in the show. We beat the shit out of them. They literally had to come with fucking shovels to scoop them off the pavement. And that was it. That never happened at the Middle East ever again. There was no playing with them. Again, this was 26 years ago. So the statute of limitations is up for anybody that's watching. But we did. We absolutely beat them into the ground. We weren't playing this. You're not going to beat on people who just want to go have a good time at a show. So I've always had this mindset with this. And then, Donald Trump decided he wanted to run in 2015. And then every single crazy on the planet went nuts. And Antifa was back in action again. And we decided we weren't going to allow this to happen. So one of the things behind it was, we don't go to their shit, they come to ours. We were the ones that coined fuck around and find out. We coined FAFO. All of you people that use FAFO owe us a debt of gratitude for that, by the way. So that was the kind of the main tenet of this thing. And so if we went and we were at a pro-America rally and Antifa wanted to come and fuck with us, we just kicked their ass. If we went to a pro-life rally and we were there to protect the women that want to protect children, and they started shit, we stopped it. So what I saw during the Summer of Love was very small pockets of violence, and then it ramped up throughout the summer, consistently ramped up till it got really bad. Like I was I was in Rochester, New York, just because people were saying, "Oh no, the shit's not really going on." I went to Rochester, New York. If you don't know where Rochester is, it is on the Canadian border. It's way, 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 way up there. I think it's like 8.5 hours from where I'm at. And Rochester is the most dangerous place in New York. You wouldn't think that. You would automatically think someplace like the Bronx or Brooklyn or Manhattan. Nope. Rochester's got the most crime. Second to that is a place called Troy. Troy is really, really bad. But in Rochester, they were ripping 2x4s off of businesses that were boarding their businesses up and running around the streets beating people with them. So it ramped up to a point where it was beyond violent for the citizens of these cities. Minnesota obviously was one. Philadelphia was one. New York was one. Boston was one. Although I will say that Boston wasn't anywhere near as bad as any of the other major cities. Boston was kind of just loud. There was not as much vandalism and violence. They weren't burning cars in Boston. So, but what I'm seeing now, like even then, I mean, we saw pictures of, the Chaz or the CHOP or the autonomous zone in Portland where, cops weren't allowed to go, and they set a cop car on fire, and they set a courthouse on fire. What I'm seeing coming out of Minnesota, at the escalation is 100 times what it was back in the original Summer of Love. The other problem is, the dangerous part of this is that the rhetoric that's coming from elected officials is unlike anything we saw in the Summer of Love. We have a sheriff, the head sheriff in Philadelphia, literally saying that ICE are fake law enforcement, they're not real, and that because they have the greatest attorney general on the planet, they're going to be arresting ICE agents. We have governors of states coming out, mayors of cities coming out and saying the most vile shit about ICE, incentivizing and incensing the public to break into cars. I mean, they broke into an ICE car, an ICE vehicle, and stole a fucking AR-15 out of it. I mean, the thing is, they're okay with this. They're not going out in public telling. They're not going out on these things and saying to the public, no, we need to chill out. We, the government of Minnesota, we'll handle it on a federal level. Everybody just take it down a notch. No, they're not trying to quell the uprising. They're just adding fuel to the fire. They're adding gasoline to this thing. They want this. They want Trump to turn around and have set a precedent where he's going to suspend posse comitatus and send the actual Marines and the Army in there. That way, once he does it, when they get back in power, because they will, we can't sit here and think for 1 second that we are going to have Republican-owned House, Senate, and a Republican president for the rest of our lives. At some point, the Democrats will get back in. And once they do, every single thing that Trump did, they are going to use it against us. And the example of that is January 6th. January 6th happened. I've always called it a photo op for retards. Even though some of my really good friends got decades in prison for it. Thankfully, they're all out. They're going to, whatever Trump, this is why I've been opposed to them ending the filibuster. Because, listen, we have some rhinos in there, and we're going to talk about that real quick. And then we're going to go to our live audience. So we have quite a few rhinos in there that are not America First. They're only, rhino, Republican in name only. And these people do not espouse conservative values as far as I'm concerned. if you say that you're conservative, you have to be conservative in everything that you do. There is no wavering for me. I am the immovable wall and the unstoppable force all in one when it comes to my conservative values and my conservative views. I will not waver. I will not compromise. I will not bend the knee. And, the number one tenet of conservatism, I say it a lot, guys, is smaller government, maximum freedom. That's why I'm willing to put up with 3 months of hell in the frozen north for 9 months of pure heaven. Because everybody gives me shit. I have to say that. Oh my God, I don't care how free it is. I couldn't live there. There's snow there. And I always say, shut up, pussy. I don't want to hear it. So we have some representation that we need to get to Congress. One of those people is Lily Tang Williams. She is an unbelievable human being, first and foremost. She escaped communist China. She came here, became an American citizen. She loves this country. She loves New Hampshire. She loves the freedom. She knows what it is to come from a socialist and a communist country. She does not want to see it here. She will be running in 2026. Scott Brown, who at one point when I was living in Massachusetts, he had been running. He ran for Senate, and he ran an amazing campaign. He was the everyday guy. He had this beat up old F-150, and he championed veterans' rights and veterans' health. And at one point, there was this housing area where they had like an HOA, and a veteran had put an American flag outside of his house, and there were a bunch of non-Americans that were offended by the American flag, and they wrote a letter, and the HOA told this veteran he had to take his American flag down. So I think it was like 300 of us got on motorcycles and drove around the facility all day with Scott Brown. And they quickly were like, oh, yeah, we fucked up. So I have a soft spot for Scott Brown. I'm not thrilled, but you know what? Like I was telling the space earlier live, Rothmus put out made a post about the fact that New England, the 7 states in New England, have no congressional representation whatsoever. And it's true. We don't. Kelly Ayotte has been very silent on redrawing the lines here. We have no Republican representation in all of New England. And more importantly, because I only care about New Hampshire, we don't have any representation here. That's why we need to work so hard to get people like Lily Tang Williams, because we only have 2 districts here. And unfortunately, the major population centers in my state are cities like Manchester, Salem, Nashua, Portsmouth, Concord. Everything else is like woods, Whiten Woods, I call it. And we don't have the population, the major population centers like that. I mean, there's just more people in that area that are Democrats, unfortunately. So all of the people, I would say, that were north and east and northeast of Concord, if you look where it is on the map, there's 2 major routes in New Hampshire. One's the 93 side, which I call, northern Massachusetts, and then there's the 16 side, which is the side that I live on. And they all kind of just go right up to the very top of New Hampshire. But anything that's north of Concord and east of Concord and northeast from there, there's no representation, and it's all red. I mean, if you look at the voting map, there's like 3 or 4 little blue dots on a big, huge red map. And they use that somehow to say that we're a purple state. And they can get away with saying that because for somehow we have voted in 4 of the worst congressional representatives in Congress right now. 4. They are, Chris Pappas and Maggie Goodlander are up there with Lindsey Graham, Elizabeth Warren, Ed Markey and Chris, what the hell's his name, from Connecticut? He wants to now make the NFA a $4,709 tax instead of $0. Told you guys that wasn't a win. I fucking called it. I said, don't. All of the Second Amendment guys were all like, woo, $0 zero tax. I said, this isn't a win. Mark my words. Go back. Go back into my posts. I know you won't, but it is what it is. Go back into my posts from, what was it, August or July, when I said that this is not a win for the Second Amendment. Don't even think for 1 second that it is. They're going to come back and they're going to what it was in 1935, $200. When you adjust it for today's inflation, it's going to be $5,000. Ooh, look, they want to make it so that's $4,709. I was off by a couple $100, but close enough. Nobody wanted to listen to me. Everybody's like, "Oh, Rob, just stop being so fucking miserable and just take the win." It's not a fucking win. A win would have been getting rid of the NFA. I'm getting off subject here. So, what I see happening in 2026 is we are going to lose quite a bit in the House. I don't think we lose the Senate. I say that tepidly, I guess you could say. But we here in New Hampshire really have an opportunity to make it up. Literally, once again, New Hampshire is going to save this country. And everybody's like, well, Rob, how do you say that? Well, the Pine Tree Riots, you guys have heard me talk about that many, many, many times. The fact that we were the first state to ratify the Constitution. New Hampshire, yes, us. Yep. Fuck Massachusetts. They don't deserve any titles when it comes to the Revolutionary War anymore. We should literally pick up the Green Dragon Bar and bring it up to New Hampshire, because that's where it's worth. And the Green Dragon Bar that's in Faneuil Hall is not the actual Green Dragon Bar. The Green Dragon Bar was in Concord and Lexington. And it's funny. Myself and Live Free or Die Candle Company were actually talking about this on X earlier today, how little people know of our actual history and how surprised, like most people don't know where the Appeal to Heaven flag actually comes from. And the fact that I even have to teach that to people, you should automatically know that. That should be part of, when they're teaching the Revolutionary War curriculum, what happened in Ware, Mass., the Pine Tree Riots. The fact that nobody really even knows that we were the first state to sign off on the Constitution. New Hampshire gets discounted quite a bit. Now, yes, I've talked a lot about New Hampshire because I love where I live. But I try to use it, as a way to show you guys that, when you have the proper representation, when you get out there and do the work, and we get these people like our representative, Sam Farrington, and young conservatives like that, putting forth the bills that they're putting forth and getting it through the House and getting it through the Senate and sitting on a Republican governor's desk, and her willing to sign it all in except for the trans thing, which we really need to be louder about this. We really do here. But how vastly different it is than states like Minnesota. Minnesota, there's a lot of people outside of Minneapolis that are strong conservatives. They don't have the representation because the major population centers in Minnesota just crush. And another example of that is Massachusetts. Between 2017, when I moved out of Massachusetts, to I think it was 2020, so those 3 years, 660,000 conservatives moved out of Massachusetts. I was just at a thing in October where one of the representatives from Plymouth County was there speaking. And he goes, you know how hard it is to do anything in this state? He goes, there's 135 Democratic representatives in this state. He goes, there's only 25 conservative. There's only 25 Republican. He goes, the second we put something forth, it gets thrown out. Just nobody even wants to see it because we're conservative. We put a bill forth and it just gets thrown out. There is no conservative representation that matters to be able to do anything in Massachusetts. Massachusetts is a dead state. I hate to say it like that, but it's true. The reality of the situation is there's not enough conservative voters in that state to affect any change whatsoever. You can run around all you want and fire up the base. If every single conservative in Massachusetts came out and voted, the left has that doubled and tripled with just the amount of bodies. It is a numerical impossibility to get any kind of Republican representation in that state. It is a dead state. So I tell people, dude, what you're literally doing is you're taking a wet noodle and slapping it against a lead wall. It's never going to happen. You will never even get it to make a mark. In 1,000 years, you can continue to hit that fucking wall with that wet noodle, and it's never going to go anywhere. Get out. Come north. You don't have to come up as far north as me, but come north. Take your conservative values, invest in a state like mine with your conservative values. You won't have to go to jail for your guns. You won't have to worry about illegals raping and killing your children or your wives. Come north, invest here. Turn this from a purple fucking state to a bright red beacon of fucking freedom in New England, because no other state is. Maine used to be like that, and then Janet Mills fucked it into oblivion, by the way. Another fucking horrible governor. God, this woman has done everything in her power to get rid of gun stores in Maine. And I know, and I'm friends with like 3 guys that had gun stores there that had to close their stores because of how impossible she's made it. Anyway, so I say that people in Minnesota, I know it's hard. It's hard to sell this to people who have been in these areas their whole lives. They have some there's some pull about, the states they're living in. There's this thing that's like people in Massachusetts, like, yo, I'm from fucking Boston, kid, yo. I wouldn't want to go anywhere. Boston fucking rocks, kid. Fucking cocksucker. They get like that about it, and it's like, dude, all I hear is you being fucking miserable. Like, the taxes are out of control. Yeah, but it's fucking Boston, kid. It's fucking Boston guy. And I'm like, you're retarded is what I say to you. Like, you can't sit here and say that you love this fucking shit, this shit state so much, but then can never say anything good about it. It's irrational to me. And yeah, you know what? My son's family is all in the south coast of Massachusetts, and we moved 2 hours north. It's not that big of a deal. And my son is experiencing a life that he would never be able to get in Massachusetts. So these states, Minnesota, they don't have enough, nor do I think they will ever have enough conservative representation, Republican representation. I don't really think Republicans are conservatives, but they're the closest thing to it. I don't think that they will ever have enough, because there's just not enough voters. That is the reality of the situation. If you look at how many people are Democrats in a state like that, same thing with California. California, I mean, listen, I never believed that Arnold Schwarzenegger was a Republican. He was just a Republican because of who he married. Well, he was, let me correct that, because that didn't come out the way I wanted it to come out. He was a Republican, and then he became a huge rhino, and then he became a limp dick because of who he married. There we go. So when you have areas like that there's just nothing you can do. I mean, I can't believe that after Ralph Northam and then they got they got rid of him because he was just psychotic. Virginia voted in a conservative governor, and Virginia was doing great. And then they now voted for a CIA agent to come in who is going to possibly usurp Maura Healey as the worst governor in the country. Virginia, what the fuck are you thinking? I don't. I can't figure it out. They, again, I think it's just the fact that during COVID, so many people moved out of these states that have conservative values for greener pastures. Florida being like the first choice. You know, nobody really thinks of coming to New Hampshire. And I don't want to be all doom and gloom. And I'm going to end the monologue on this. I don't want to be all doom and gloom. But when you look at sheer numbers and the fact that the lefts, they're not going to change their mind on this stuff. You can go door knocking in Massachusetts all day long in Brookline, you're in Boston and Newton, Wellesley, Waban, like those are the rich areas. They're all Democrats in that area. Newton specifically, they're known for having white, Jewish, lesbian lawyers. That is like almost the entire population of Newton. That's sarcasm, but it's still almost true. So, what do you do? Do you continue to live in a place where your representatives don't represent you, where they represent people who are diametrically opposed to American values, American exceptionalism, Western civilization? They want to see the downfall of this. Or, for the betterment of yourself and your families and your children, do you move on to greener pastures? This is the question that I pose you guys. And for, the 1,000 people that are watching right now, if you're interested in answering that question, please come to my profile at the Rob1772. You will see on my profile that there is an X space going on. Please come in, request a mic, have this conversation with me, because I'm more than willing to have this with you. But the question is do you continue to financially support a state by shopping there, paying taxes there, that is 100% opposed to you and your values? And you can give me whatever reason you want, but understand that I'm gonna push back on all of those reasons. Or do you nut up and you look at states like New Hampshire, like Florida? Maybe we get some, real representation and strength in Texas, because what the hell's going on in Texas is beyond me, man. Do you look for places like that to go try to strengthen the conservative movement in those states that already have a pretty good, amount of numbers when it comes to conservatives? Then they have a chance to you got a chance to make it a stronghold, like here in New Hampshire? Or do you sit there and continue to complain that your state sucks, your government doesn't do anything for you, and there's nothing that can be done? This is called cognitive dissonance. I'm giving you facts. Your brain has made up the fact that this is what it believes, and then I hit you with information that you know to be true, but your brain just doesn't want to accept it. So the war that goes on inside your head, they call that cognitive dissonance. This is what's going on when I talk to people. So that's the question. What do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Please, if you want to come in, join the conversation at the Rob1772, and we are going to go to the X space that we have live now, and our co-host Winona. Winona, what's going on, my dear?
Hey, Rob.
Now, where do you live, Winona? I know where you live, but
Yeah, in North Carolina.
Okay, so what do you think of your representation in North Carolina? How do you feel about that?
Well, yeah, my governor is not too good. So we're just trying to ratify that this upcoming March on a primary. But yes, it's not so well.
Who's your governor?
Shoot, it's not Roy Cooper. Sorry, I just
Tom Tillis.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Tillis.
yeah. He's
Tillis.
in the yeah. He's in the Senate.
Who's the governor of North Carolina? Oh, I'm actually typing on the wrong thing. Hold on.
Stein.
Stein.
Stein. Mm-hmm.
Really? Is he? Isn't the governor of Pennsylvania named Stein too? Isn't it? Holy crap! You know, governor of PA. Oh, Shapiro. Well, another one of the funny hats. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Freaking Jews over here.
Listen. You know, I grew up when I grew up in New York, where I grew up in New York, when the Bronx and Yonkers, it was just literally like one side of the street was all Jewish and the other side of the street was all Italian. I'm obviously on the Italian part of that. And they were conservative. They had conservative values. They weren't, and they pushed back a lot. I do remember my dad having conversations with them, and they pushed back on the shit that Israel was pulling, even back in the mid to late 80s. And we talk about this a lot on the show, guys, and it's one of these things. You don't hate an entire race for being that race, but I'm not going to allow anybody to call me anti-Semitic if I call out Israel, the state of Israel, the government of Israel, for being a bunch of subversive fucking cunts and trying to tell me that I shouldn't be allowed to have my First Amendment because they're all butthurt and they got sand in their manginas over supposed anti-Semitic speak. I'm not going to have anybody from any country tell me that. They're not going to come here and say, well, you need to get rid of your First Amendment because we're butthurt. Not going to happen. This is how like normally moderate people, when it comes to this conversation and when it comes to this, become radicalized. When you have a president of a country come into this country and say, you need to have your First Amendment limited because of anti-Semitic speech. That's not what the First Amendment says, by the way. Is diametrically opposed to the First Amendment. You're not going to get any support from me, and you're going to make me an enemy. Whereas normally I'm just like, all right, I really don't care what you guys do. It shouldn't and doesn't affect America. We need to fix the shit here first. Now you put me in. You are in my crosshairs now. Now you're an enemy. So, but I know a lot of Jewish people that just look at the state of Israel and go, yeah, nope, no, that's not cool. That's not cool. This is bullshit. So it's not, and I don't paint with broad brushes like that. You just can't. Like so Jeff, who do you got as your governor in New Mexico there? I do love your state, by the way.
Hey, Rob.
Yes.
Hey, Rob. It's Josh Stein.
Josh
Sorry,
Stein.
I had a brain fart on that, but
It's okay.
yes,
I put you on the spot, honey. You don't usually talk much.
I know. You said that. Work back. So yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Josh Stein.
Sorry.
So he's a rhino.
That's Michelle Lujan Grisham, and she's not up for re-election, so she'll be gone.
Okay, who are you looking for? But this is in 2026. You're looking at getting a new governor.
Yeah, I haven't put my finger on it right now, but I'll be honest with you. I lived in Houston, Texas, and there's 1,000 Bronx in the city of Houston. I mean, a lot of tough places. And give me 1 second, Rob. Hold on.
Yeah. No problem. Winona, I think we have a request. I'll defer to you. Everybody gets a mic and gets a chance to prove themselves. If they go off and become cuckoo and insane, then I need you to drop them immediately, please.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, honey. Yes, we don't discriminate here. Everybody gets a mic. You get a chance to prove yourself. I don't care whether you got a blue check or not. I'm not an elitist by any stretch.
Okay. So what I was saying is that we have the same sentiment all the way through down here in the deep south, and same similar thing in New Mexico. I think we wrote one ticket for the No More Kings rally, and it was for a guy blowing diesel smoke through his turbo, and they wrote a ticket for it. That was it. But
We did that in
I don't
Wolfboro,
think
by the
these
way.
people would do. Oh, these guys wouldn't last a couple of days out here. They'd be gone.
There were a
We
bunch
have
of us
total
that
control
have
of this area.
diesels
Total control.
that are capable of rolling coal, and we kind of rolled through Wolfboro and rolled coal on them. They were so mad. They were so fucking mad. Whatever it was, it is what it is. Like I don't. I'm not a huge fan of that, but just sometimes you got to shut them up, and you really can't. Like you can't punch 72-year-old people in the face. 25-year-olds with pink hair, septum piercings and pussy hats. Those people you can punch. That's gratifying, but you can't punch 72-year-old people. So welcome to the stage, Radio Face. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. And well, we also
Might
have.
be a work,
Don't you
man.
hate when you try to hit the mic button and it just won't open?
Oh, well, there you go. Now it works.
Yeah, you know me, Rob.
Yeah.
When somebody starts spitting stuff out, I always have to go fact check them. I sent you a DM with the evaluation in New Hampshire, and I'll let you decide if you want to post that or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here in Arizona, we are represented by the Sinaloa-crats, the Sinaloa-cratic Party. The drug cartel represents everything. They own everything in the state. We are kind of screwed. We got Mark Kelly. Boy, ain't he a great guy. Before him, we had Christian Cinema.
Oh, yeah.
The slut from hell.
Yep.
She was so slutty, she didn't care whether it was with a man or a woman. We have Ruben Gallego. I mean, we just have such horrible people. The only person we had that was worth a damn was Andy Biggs, and he's going to run for governor here, so we aren't going to have him,
I've been up all night with a very angry 15-month-old. She was so angry last night. So Rob is correct. New Hampshire stands out as a top choice for living in America, blending freedom, safety, and opportunity in ways that draw people from all walks of life. Whether you are a younger voter starting out, a parent raising a family, or a retiree seeking peace, the state offers a lot to consider. First, taxes there keep more money in your pocket. It has no state sales tax or no income tax on wages, salaries, or even interest and dividends starting in 2025, which means Kelly Ayotte signed into law that we got rid of estate tax and capital gains tax. So we have no tax on income here in New Hampshire, none at all, which is amazing. That makes it one of the most tax-friendly spots in the country, though property taxes run higher to fund local services. Now, we're working on that also. But the thing is, the property taxes, as much as they suck, I also live in the lowest taxed city in the entire state. So I have 18 acres on a mountain, and I pay $2,100 a year for it. Yeah, everybody's like, what? But then you go to a place like Barrington, and you have a 2,400 square foot 9 Lake Colonial, and you're paying $9,000 a year. But at the same time, you're not paying taxes on anything else. It is more, if you were to take the taxes that you pay in a state like Massachusetts with your property taxes, you would gladly pay $9,000 a year in taxes on property, and if you're not paying taxes on anything else. Recent laws have added relief like bigger exemptions for seniors and disabled folks, plus ideas to tax second homes more to ease the load on full-time residents. So yes, this is what we are. This is what we're working on now. So we have a lot of snowbirds and shitheads from Massachusetts that own property, really nice property on the lakes. With the Seven Lakes region, Lake Winnipesaukee. There's a lot of people who have summer homes that come up here. We're talking about reducing the burden on tax of the actual residents and citizens here and taxing those fuckers higher, which puts a big smile on my face. A real big smile on my face, because I hate them. I do. I hate to say that I hate anything or anybody, but when they come here in the summertime, they just destroy the state. And they walk around and they act like, if it wasn't for my taxes and my money coming up here, you people in New Hampshire wouldn't survive. They actually say this shit. And we're like, no, we don't need you. Get the fuck out. And our cops are brutal. Like in the summertime, you just see like Massachusetts plates like the state police go after those motherfuckers. Fucking something fierce. But anyway, so on personal freedoms, New Hampshire leads with a strong Second Amendment support. We have 0 gun laws in this state. None. We have no restrictions on anything other than the whole riding around with a shotgun in your back window thing, which we're working on to get rid of, which is awesome. It allows permit-free carry for adults, has no ban on common firearms, and ranks number 1 in gun-friendly ratings from every single major source on the planet, from Goal, Gun Owners Action League, and GOA, also FPC, the NRA. I hate even talking about them because they've been sellouts for like 25, 30 years. I also live in a place where if I wanted to shoot my gun off of my toilet into my backyard, I could do that if I wanted. Its murder rate is the lowest in the United States, about 1 per 1,000. In 2025, we had 4 gun deaths. 2 of those were suicides, and the other one was a murder, and it was from somebody out of state. And the other one was the most recent thing at the wedding, where the dude was screaming like pro-Palestinian bullshit, and it turns out he was from Salem, I guess, or Nashua. I think it was Nashua. Either one, the kid was born here. Most of the quote unquote gun violence that happens in this state is suicide by gun. As far as, assaults with weaponry, barely even registers. We just beat the national average with the median household income around $96,000 and $99,000. That supports a solid economy in fields like healthcare and tech, close to Boston's job hubs. So job hubs. So people that live in Boston, it's to the border of Seabrook is 45 minutes. It's not really that far to drive, especially if you're not paying taxes. Life expectancy ranks in the top 10 to 15 states, about 79 years, thanks to clean living, good health access, and low crime. The air is different here. If you're driving up 95 from Boston, you hit the New Hampshire border, I know this sounds overly dramatic. I know it does. I absolutely know it sounds dramatic. But it's like even the scenery changes at that moment. Like you're in New Hampshire. You could stand on one side of the border and the air just feels oppressive. And you make one step over the border and it's like the cleanest air you've ever inhaled in your life. Yes, it's overly dramatic, but it's true. Our birth rate puzzles many. I don't know. Oh, Family Life shines with one of the lowest divorce rates in the nation. Yes, because of our values here. Showing strong marital stability tied to education and income. Yet the birth rate puzzles many. It sits among the lowest in the U.S. At about 8.4 to 8.8 births per 1,000 people, far below the national average. Well, there's a lot of us that are of this age that are not having babies. Oh, wait a minute. Some of us are. But listen, I've already done my part as far as procreation goes and trying to repopulate the white race. Again, a joke. If you can't take a joke, go fuck yourself. Find another show. This is odd in a state packed with family success.
Trump Jr.
Yeah, this is odd.
Jr.
This is odd in a state packed with family success perks like safety, good pay, and low divorce. I can't figure out why that is too. You would figure that. I think a lot of people that have moved here, like from Massachusetts, I'll use that as an example, already had kids and they brought their kids with them. People that have like the New Hampshire heart and the New Hampshire soul that were literally stuck behind enemy lines for years and wanted to find a way out, couldn't find a way out, finally found a way out and came there. So they're bringing these conservative values and, the fact that they already had the culture of New Hampshire and the mindset of New Hampshire built into their bodies, but they already had kids. So you're talking, 40-year-olds, mid-40s that aren't likely to have any more kids, unlike me, where the second I get on the carnivore diet and I get somebody knocked up. Anyway, I love my daughter. She's awesome. It highlights trends like later marriages and high costs, but also points to a need for policies that make starting families easier for younger generations. Agreed. This is a great place to build a family, to start a family. And if you start a family in a place like this, and you continue the culture into your children, the New Hampshire is going to stay this way. Even so, public schools deliver top results, ranking in the nation's top 5 to top 10 for test scores, graduation rates, and small class sizes. It's because we don't have a lot of people here. I think there's 1.7 million people in the entire state. I do know that my son's school, my son is excelling. It's not a big school. It is a Div 1 school, so he plays Div 1 football, and the football program's great. And the wrestling program's great, and he's amazing at that, too. And let's see, it says, high local funding creates strong education that prepares kids well. My son came home, and I'm going to finish reading this. Overall, New Hampshire mixes low taxes, high freedom, top safety, and solid opportunities into a lifestyle that fits voters of every age. It is a state where you can thrive, but addressing the low birth rate could make it even better for future families. If you value independence and security, it is worth a closer look. Perhaps we should join me at the Rob, in turning the state deep red. Radio Face, thank you very much, brother, for that. That was amazing. I do appreciate you writing that. I am going to share that as soon as we're done with the show. Everything is true. Everything that he wrote about in that is true. It's a great post. And I say all these things. Listen, I was from the south coast of Massachusetts. We did have cold weather there, and we did have snow. But it ain't nothing like where I'm living now. My first year here was, holy shit, what the fuck did I move into? We literally had the first snowfall was like 22 inches of snow. And I live on what's called a Class 6 road, so I actually have to plow the road. Like, it was part of my buying the house here. I had to buy a plow for my truck because otherwise you wouldn't get down the road. You don't have to buy a house on a Class 6. Let me just tell you that right away. But buying a house on a Class 6 usually means that there's nobody around you for thousands of acres, which is awesome. So, and then
That's where I'd build a fortress.
Yeah, dude, it's coming slowly. It's slowly coming. Once I start getting the actual, sponsors for the show, and I start making a little bit of money at this, then yeah, it's all going into a bunker under the ground in the side of the mountain. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding, but I am kidding. There will be signs. I promise you. But it was one of those things where I wasn't really expecting it. And then, there's like 1 week, and I'm not bitching. There was 1 week there's usually 1 week in like February where it gets down to like -10 and -20 for an entire week. And everything is just like, you don't want to do shit outside. But after that
Make
first,
babies.
that's when you make babies. Absolutely. When that, after your first year, after your first year here, your blood starts to thicken. And it doesn't fucking bother you at all. It's 30. I don't know what it is right now. What is it? It's let me look. It is 22 degrees here where I'm at, and I went out in a t-shirt and jeans. I didn't even put a jacket on. It doesn't even bother you after the first time. If you can deal with driving around in snow, then you'll be fine. It's not that big of a deal. For me, the trade-off of the freedom is well worth it. Go ahead, Radio Face.
I left all the temperature stuff and weather stuff out of there for a reason. How many people just hit ignore conversation?
Yeah.
My boat. Thanks.
So, and it just sucks. I look at places like Minnesota, and if they had proper leadership and representation, none of this shit would be going on there. And I've been talking up New Hampshire because I'm trying to tell you guys that, all of this stuff, there's plenty of people here that have that Antifa mindset. Like I was talking about earlier, Portsmouth is huge. Like, you go to Portsmouth on a Sunday, any Sunday, and we usually go down there. A bunch of us get on our bikes and go down there and just laugh at these people, right? But then they're all the same psychos that you see, on TV, but they're just walking around. They're not burning cars. They're not breaking in. They're not vandalizing property. They're not doing any of this shit. They're retarded and stupid, and they're saying the worst shit imaginable, and the troons are running around, and, they're all like, I'm a fucking woman. I still have a penis. But that's all they're doing. And as much as I disagree with all of it, there's nothing I agree with. They're still exercising their First Amendment the way they're supposed to. And I can't say that I'm a First Amendment absolutist if I want to shut them up. That would be hypocritical. So they can run around with their little signs all day long saying this stuff, and I can laugh at them, but they have a right to do that. They don't have a right to destroy and vandalize. And that shit doesn't happen here for a reason. Because people intrinsically know that if you fuck around in this state, that the citizens, forget about the cops. I'm not even talking about the cops. The cops are going to squash it first. And if the cops can't, the citizens here in New Hampshire would never fucking put up with that bullshit. You will never see this shit happen in New Hampshire. And if it does, it's going to last a half an hour at the most. Because that's how long it's going to take all of us to go to wherever the fuck it is and stop it. Because we will. when you have proper representation, when you have a government that represents all of its constituents, you know, this is the divisive fucking bullshit that the Democrats want to do. It's even if a Republican brings something to the table and says, and they know damn well that this is a policy that's going to help both sides. It's a bipartisan thing. They dismiss it outright because it's a conservative bringing it. There is no bipartisanship anymore. There is no coming together as Americans anymore. The left have made it so that it's just them and them alone. And if you don't follow what they want for this country, they are going to do everything in their power to bring down the country. This is what's going on in Minnesota right now. This is what's happening in Minneapolis. There are no adults in the fucking room in Minneapolis. You have the police department that are allowing this shit to happen. You have a governor that's literally telling the federal government he's willing to go to war with the federal government over illegal immigrants. What the fuck? Have we gotten into the upside down? Are we like fully committed to clown world now? Because that's exactly what it seems like to me. We are fully fucking committed to clown world. Look, yeah, we've been
traded there with the Somalis. Yep.
It's not. Listen, yes, I agree with you, Jeff. But it's not just the Somalis. Muslims, Mexicans, South Americans. I mean, listen, the Muslims come in from the Canadian border. The Chinese that come in that own thousands and thousands of acres in Maine. Do you know all of the pot shops in Maine? Just about all of them are owned by Chinese. And not even Chinese Americans.
They cut with the cartel.
And not even
cut that deal with.
Yeah, not even Chinese Americans. There's a spot in Maine. I actually have the map. I'm going to try to put it up on my page later, where it's like this one swath of fucking, and it's huge on the map. It's thousands and thousands of acres of land in Maine, right in the center of Maine, and it's crazy to me. And these are Chinese nationals. They're not even American. They're not even American citizens. And these people are allowed to own pot shops in Maine. That shit's not happening here. We're trying to get rid of the deal where China's owning buying that bottle company. And it's funny because Lily Tang Williams is the one that exposed that in the first place. And she was Chinese. She came over here and became an American citizen. She hates the Chinese government. And she's like, I don't want China here. So it's really ironic that, you know, she's talking about this bottling company in Nashua. And she's like, no, we can't let this shit happen. And now it's being investigated. We'll see where it goes. But it's not just the Somalis. I mean, yes, they're a fucking problem. There's no doubt about it. They're a problem in Minneapolis. But it's all of these other people who come here. Here's the thing. I am a nationalist. I am a proud fucking nationalist. I believe in America. I believe in American exceptionalism. I believe in Western civilization, Western culture. I believe in what our forefathers fought and died for. I love this country. I am a proud nationalist. Now, most people will say, oh, that's a bad thing to say, Rob. That's a bad thing to say. No, it's not. It absolutely is not a bad thing to say. I want the best for this country, and I want the best for its people, like actual citizens. I don't care about you if you're not an American citizen. I know that sounds harsh. You need to fix your own country. But if you are going to come here and get and prosper from all that America has to offer, you need to fucking assimilate. That's it. You speak English. You live by American standards. You don't import the third world that you supposedly ran away from here. We don't want it. We want nothing to do with your third world shithole in our country. People say to me, you know, Rob, that's pretty fucking harsh. Yeah, it is, but it's true. And one thing I endeavor to do, and I've always endeavored to do, is just be brutally honest with you. Everything that I would say in the real world, everything that I say on the job site, when I'm talking to the guys on the job, is what I say here. Nothing is different. Anybody that on X that's met me in real life knows that everything I say here is the same shit I say in real life. I want to be authentic in everything that I do and in everything that I say. And I would never say something here that I wouldn't say out there, and I wouldn't say anything out there that I wouldn't say here. Now, this is a problem. We don't want your third world here. We want you to assimilate. We want people to come here. We want people to strengthen America. We want you to enjoy what America has to offer, only if you become an American and assimilate to our way of life. We are not going to assimilate to yours. We will fight you. We will push back on your fucking bullshit. We're not going to allow this to happen. I am not going to acquiesce to people who are halal and say that I can't have pork products in certain areas. Motherfucker, if I want to eat pork, I'm going to eat pork. And you ain't going to take your bullshit somewhere else. We don't want it. We don't want it. A couple of years ago, there was a bunch of fucking Muslims that wanted to make fucking all of Subway fucking halal and not have fucking bacon in there. Motherfucker, you know how American bacon is? Again, that's my point. You can personally choose to not eat pork. That's fine. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal. You don't want to eat ham. I don't care. It's your life. But you're not going to force me to do it. I'm an American citizen. I was born here. I was raised here. I love this country. I am going to fight for this country no matter what. And if it means fighting against people like the Somalis in Minnesota, the Muslims that are trying to take over Texas, the sycophants and saprophytes in our system that are destroying this country within, I'm going to fight it. I'm going to fight that fight and not give a shit. I don't give a shit what you call me. You can call me racist. You can call me xenophobe. You can call me homophobe, transphobe, whatever phobe, ist, or ism you want to fucking call me. Yes, I am. I lean into that shit. I don't make any fucking excuses. I don't go, oh, no, I'm not like that. But, you know, did you, I can't be racist. Did you know my oldest daughter's half black? She is. No, you don't hear, I don't virtue signal. I don't give a fuck. You can call me whatever you want. Because you've already made up your mind. Your perspective. This is your perspective. I can't change your perspective. You're wrong, but I can't change that. And nor are you powerful enough or have enough agency to make me acquiesce to your demands. I'm not going to do it. Booby, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man.
Hey, great spot, great space. I'm gonna call you Granite Rob from now on.
Yep. It's actually, I don't know if you see it. It's Granite State Rebel, brother. That's going to be the new name, Granite State Rebel.
Okay, next time I have it right. Granite State Rebel.
That's
great
goddamn right.
Also give you the respect every time for letting Tiny and Count Mind speak. I appreciate that,
bro.
And what I wanted to ask you,
I was with you at one point, brother. I was with you at one point too. I will never not. I don't give a shit if somebody's got a blue check or not. Everybody gets a fucking mic, and I love you, brother. You know that.
Absolutely. Fuse and mutual, much respect. But I want to ask you, it's not a got you question, it's a curiosity question. And I just want to pick your brain about something because I've lived a similar lifestyle that you're living now, and I love it. About 40 years ago, I lived in Montana, you know, and it was beautiful. Like you said, fresh air. You know, my skin was always clean. The water was out of this world. The milk was out of this world. It just was a different, wholesome type of life compared to New York or the Bronx. You know.
Hell yeah.
So what I want to ask you was, moving forward, last time I was been there was 15 years ago. Not 15 years ago. Last time I was there was 2015, and I couldn't believe the changes that were made in Bozeman and Missoula, right? So my buddy who I was traveling with, I asked him, you know, what's going on with that? You know, why so many changes? You know, the different types of people, you name it. You know, I didn't recognize Bozeman or Missoula. So he told me that, you know, a lot of people rich people from California and from Oregon were moving there. and they changed the whole dynamic of those two. There's only like three major cities, maybe four. Helena, you got Butte, then you got Bozeman and Missoula. Billings, maybe five. So what was the dynamic changes in those cities? He said, well, they bring a lot of money here. Also, they're bringing their policies here. Their liberal policies. That are changing things drastically in Montana to where the native Montanans, whether Indian or middle class whites, are getting pushed out a lot of things. So they have a lot of power, a lot of say to what goes on in Montana. So my question to you, and I'll be brief because you always have a popular spot. My question to you is, suppose that same thing happened to New Hampshire with rich New Yorkers or the tri-state, New Jersey or Connecticut. What about New Hampshire would stop that same thing from happening that Montana's experiencing, in your opinion?
I can't say 100% that it won't ever happen here. Okay, I can't say that. We none of us can. But what I can tell you is that with a lot of the laws that our governor has been signing in, and all of the stuff that our representatives are doing, it is literally scaring the liberals from coming here. I mean, the weather's bad. The weather is harsh enough. So if you want to make any significant change here in New Hampshire, you have to go kind of north of say Rochester on the 16 side, and like north of Concord on the 93 side. So the left and right sides of the state is what I call it. To make any significant difference in living, I guess you could say, for people that would come out of state, you'd have to move up to this area. That's scary enough for these people. They don't want to go up anywhere like near Pittsburgh or Gorham or places like that. They're like, no, fuck that noise. They want nothing to do with it. But the thing is a lot of these things that are going on right now, like that we are vehemently opposed to trans in sports and in children's sports. We are looked upon by most of New England as very unfriendly to trans and homosexuals. We are not unfriendly to them, but we are unfriendly to the ones that want to try to trans and push homosexuality on our children. Most of us here are kind of like measured in our thing. We're like, all right, you know what? I don't agree with homosexuality. I don't. I have friends that are gay. I disagree with their lifestyle choices, but they're adults. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Love who you want to fucking love. Don't push it on kids. That's my line right there. When you can do whatever you want. You're a grown ass fucking adult. If you believe in God, and like I believe in God, if God's got a problem with it, God will deal with you. It's not my place to judge that as an adult. But it is my place to do something about it and become your enemy if you're pushing it on children in school. So we are known throughout New England as being very unfriendly to the LGB alphabet soup. So they don't want to come here. They're like, wow, we're not. They even have campaigns saying that we're not even going to shop in New Hampshire. Well, you're fucking yourself if you don't. We don't have any sales tax. I mean, that was the thing. People would come here and shop here. Well, we're not going to support the economy in New Hampshire because they're so okay, sure. And then the massholes, they don't like the fact that we carry guns. Like in my community, you go to the local country stores that are all around me. Everybody's carrying, and everybody is not carrying concealed. They're open carrying, and none of us, we don't look at one another and go, oh my God, he's carrying a gun. But in the summertime, the spring and summertime, the massholes come here and they're all like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys actually walk around with guns on your hip. Yeah, we do. We do. So they're afraid of that. They're afraid of all of these things that don't align with their psychotically liberal fucking mindset. They don't want to come here. They are resistant to coming here. Now, I can't say that's not going to change, but if we ever had a hit show like Yellowstone, something like that happening here in New Hampshire, where people are attracted to it, for 10 years, people are watching, almost 10 years, people are watching, Yellowstone and all of the and everybody's like, oh, we want to go to Montana and be fucking cowboys, and they bring their stupid fucking policies with them. When you see something like, that's I actually really blame, a lot of that on Yellowstone is what's going on in Montana right now. If that ever happened here in New Hampshire, I bet that it would make it so that, people like that would come live here and they would try to change their policies. But the other thing too is, unlike most other places in America, and I've seen this, even people who are Democrats that come here, they don't want taxes. They don't want income tax. They don't want sales tax. They moved here for that reason. They're gonna vote. And then the mayor of Manchester was running on that she wanted to institute like a 2% sales tax, and she was kind of like, she was just so nonchalant about it, and it was like willy nilly, and she's like, oh, it's just 2%. I mean, the people in New Hampshire can deal with it, and everybody in New Hampshire went, fuck you, ain't happening, motherfucker, no way in hell. And so even the Democrats that come here, and I think that's the reason why we have the disparity in our, as far as our local and state representation as opposed to our congressional representation. They'll vote in people like Maggie Goodlander to go to federal while voting for conservative representation because it directly affects their wallet in their life. So they'll vote for all of these Republican and conservative here in the state, but they still got to fight the man and fight Trump. So they're gonna they'll vote for somebody like Jeanne Shaheen, and they'll vote for somebody like Chris Pappas and Maggie Goodlander and Maggie Hassan, which we're gonna fucking correct in 2026. Aren't we? Live Free or Die Candle Company. God damn it, we're gonna do everything in our power to correct that shit. But yeah, I mean, listen, man, we are. Yeah, we're literally the black sheep of New England. That's the only way I can when it comes to the liberals and their mindset when it comes to New Hampshire. I don't know if I'll see it in my time while I'm on this planet in the next 20 years. I hope not. And I think that we have my kids, my son's friends. They're all they're all like Gen Zs. And they're all like based little motherfuckers, man. They really are. I mean, the conversations we have in the car are just fucking hilarious. And then, these kids are pushing back. They're teaching them about World War II, and they actually asked my son, what if the Jews were such a problem in World War II, what would you have done? And my son goes, ship them out. He goes, I wouldn't have killed them all, but I would have shipped them out. And I was like, holy shit, that didn't come from me. That was a pretty based fucking statement. And the teacher was like, what? So he had to sit down with her, and he heard me talking about, like, he asked me, were there people on this planet that killed more than Hitler did? And I said, yeah, like Pol Pot. So I explained to him who Pol Pot was, Stalin, Chairman Mao, all of these people, and he was like, whoa. So and all of these kids are like this. This is what it is. This is, all of these kids for the most part, come from conservative parents and instilling conservative values in these kids. And there's a lot of hope for these kids going forward. Even if it's just breaking the bullshit narrative of the left that everybody's a homophobe or transphobe or racist or, anti-Semitic or whatever fucking, buzzword you want to use. These Gen Z kids, especially here in New Hampshire, are pushing back against this. They don't want to hear none of this garbage. They don't put up with the tranny bullshit in school. They don't put up with the gay bullshit in school. They're not going to listen to their fucking teachers if the teachers start teaching them about homosexuality and dental dams and fucking anal sex and all this shit. These kids will get up and walk the fuck out, and the parents will back their kids up. And that's another reason why that these people are afraid to come here. They don't want to. They don't want to mess with it. And if we get teachers that come here from like Massachusetts and try to pull that bullshit, they don't last very long. And that's the truth. Jeff, go ahead, Bowie.
Much respect. You thoroughly answered my question. I'll land with that.
But again, Bowie, I'll end on this. There is always that fear. There absolutely 100% is always that fear that at some point we get a Democrat governor. And I would say just knowing the people that I know in the state, I don't know everybody in the state, and we only have 1.7 million people here. So it's not really that hard to know a good swath of people here. That if we ever had, like, say, for some reason we got a Democratic governor, and that governor decided they wanted to get rid of constitutional carry, there would be a Revolutionary War Part 2 that starts right here in New Hampshire. Again, I promise you. We were the state that rolled up a fucking cannon to the governor's house because we had a Tory piece of shit hiding in his house, and we were threatening to blow up the governor's fucking house with the governor in it if he didn't fucking release that motherfucking colonel. We don't play games here. We still have that mindset, guys. So, yeah, no, I don't foresee it happening, but you can't ever be 100%. Uncle Buck, what's going on, brother? Good to see you.
What's going on, brother? I've been enjoying the conversation while wrenching on this damn Coyote engine.
Oh boy.
I just wanted to. I agree with you. You started to go down a lane, and then it's like you went from like the slow lane to the fast lane. I was like, okay, he's got the car in the right fucking lane now. I was just gonna say, people move to places typically that appeal to them, and most times, that appeal to their ideology. I would say the exceptions is when they're following their company, and in Texas we've seen that, right? We know Austin's gotten a whole lot more bluer, but again, that's the tech shift, right? I would say if you drive over the vast majority of Texas ain't turning purple or blue any fucking time soon, right? And I would say the vast majority of even Californians that I've met in Houston and Dallas and even San Antonio, they are just like breathing a sigh of fresh air because they came here because this state appealed to the things that they were sick and tired of. They don't pay state income taxes here. The property values are less. The government is less, I would say, less restrictive, more or less. There's more opportunity here to start a business. There's more opportunity to kind of, I will say, the fucking credit laws here are fucking super advantageous, but by and all, the vast majority of Texans, we do business in honor.
Yeah. And
I think as long as it's that way, it's going to stay that way. Right. And I would say the vast majority of your socialists are going to stay where the socialists are. So, when we get in this whole, diatribe of, they're, the socialists are coming or the communists are coming. I'm always like, no, they're fucking not. They don't want to live around us. We don't want to live around them.
They wouldn't last
And that's
days
okay.
out here.
Yeah, they just don't want to come here to New Hampshire. I think that the only problem I see with Texas, and that just from talking to you sometimes, but more Aaron than anybody else because I still talk to him, is the fact that you guys have such a infestation of Islam in that state, dude. So that's, to me, like, I don't believe that Epic City should exist. Like, these people, I think they're just as bad as the APAC. So you know how I feel on that. You've heard me say that before.
Brother, I get it. You know what? And unlike, these weirded out zealots, listen, you're entitled to feel the way you want to feel, and I don't judge your heart. I don't judge your heart. That's your position, right? I just don't. Again, I see it all the time. I see the mosque. I go in these people's restaurants, and this is what changed it for me. And I'll just be quick in this share. I took my family out to a Muslim barbecue restaurant. It's out of Pakistan. And we sat down. The first thing that kind of irritated me was it's like we get the menu and there's no alcohol on it. And I'm just like, fuck, But then we're sitting there and we're eating, right? And this is, Houston's just one of those cities you can get food from just about any place in the world, right? Nothing but families. No fatherless families. It's like you got the father, the mother. They're not in hijabs or anything like that. The kids are around. The grandparents are there. The great-grandparents are there. They're all together. The owner comes out, treats us nicely. But the thing that stuck out to me the most is in the back of the restaurant where they had, like, I guess, you would say is like a small hall for like private parties. There was a place for the owner to go pray. And while the guy is coming out, working his ass off, serving food, trying to build a business, he takes 5 minutes out and acknowledges. I mean, he gets on his knees, he prays to God, and I'm just like, you know what? We may not share the same damn God, but damn, this guy's a whole lot closer to his faith than I see than a lot of these fucking crunchy Christians that I'm seeing in business.
Oh, agreed.
Right?
Agreed,
so
100%.
That's where I'm like, I'm being told to be scared of these people? Man, hold up. And that's where I just differ on it, right? Because I live around it, I see it, and they're just not a threat to me. And the other thing is, I live in a gun-packing state. If they become a threat, we'll deal with it. I mean, there's
Uncle
Six
Buck,
Flags
Uncle Buck,
that reigned over Texas for a reason.
Uncle Buck, your black just came out. I heard it. I heard it in your voice. I swear to God, I heard it in your voice, bro. That I have the hardest time believing that you're black, but I am now convinced that you are, bro. I heard it. I fucking heard it, bro.
Well, I speak the King's English, my man. I mean, I think you're going to see it. You talked about a generational shift, man. We're going to see a whole bunch of different generational shifts. I think the biggest one I'm looking forward to is when my kids and my grandkids come in, and a lot of that hoodness, right? They transcend a lot of that hoodness, right? I mean, when I go to England, right, I'm around British people, but I meet black Brits, I meet white Brits, I meet Pakistani Brits, Indian Brits. You know what? They're all polished in their in how they speak.
Yep,
how they articulate their language.
Yeah, they all have a certain eloquence to the way they speak. Yeah,
right. You just got to cut out all the division. I will tell you, the one thing that I will say about Britons is, outside of the whole Welshness and Irish and Scots, I mean, they all consider themselves fucking British. Mm-hmm. There's no what I would say the racial division there like it is here.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I think I've seen more racial division come from the left than the right. Now, Listen, I grew up in the Bronx, dude. I can't not have grown up around black people my whole entire fucking life, man. It would just be like a, mathematical impossibility for me to not have any, interactions with black people growing up. But I always looked at it like, if you're an American and you love this country, I don't give a fuck what color you are. Never had a fucking problem with that. But if you're out in these fucking streets, burning these streets, and you're doing it under the guise of being black or, BLM, then fuck you. You're not an American anymore, and you're an enemy. And it just, to me, it's always, I've always transcended the notion that, we're separate because we're black. And because you're black and I'm white. Like, I never like played that game with people. Like, I just go, when they start running their fucking mouths. I mean, this is one of the main reasons why I don't do Chatter anymore, because everywhere you go on Chatter, it is all, and I hope somebody clips this and sends that to them. And I believe that's the reason why it's going to fail, is because every single they have so many fucking black people on there, and it's all, woe is me, I'm fucking black. Woe is me, I'm fucking black. Woe is me, I'm fucking black. And it's like, dude, listen, get over yourself, motherfucker, all right? And the second you do that, everyone's like, oh, you're a fucking white supremacist. I'm fucking Sicilian Italian. For 250 years, black people raped and pillaged my fucking women and my culture. And it wasn't until the Vikings came down to fucking Sicily and kicked those motherfuckers out that we actually got our fucking supposed culture back. So go fuck yourself. Like, I'm tired. I don't fucking play this fucking racial game. I never have. You are either a good person or a bad person. And I don't give a shit what color you are. You're going to prove to me one way or another. And I say it like this: if you're a piece of shit Italian, you're a dago. If you're a piece of shit black person, you're a nigger. If you're a piece of shit fucking gay person, you're a fag. And if you don't like that shit, go eat a fucking fat bag of dicks. But I'm trying to get to the trial, my man. Let me get through it. Are you in the car wash again?
I am.
Motherfucker, listen to this dude. Every time he opens up his mic in his space, I'm at the car wash. Whatever. It is what it is.
I was like, just cook a little bit longer.
Cook a little bit longer. Cook a little bit longer. I'll tell you what. I will cook a little bit longer. I am not ending the space, so please, nobody leave. I do have to end the live because there is going to be somebody else using the studio. So I'm going to say to the 2,000 live viewers, thank you guys very much. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting always. I truly appreciate it. It means more to me than I could ever explain to you. Being a construction worker, most of my life, and finding doing this later on in life, much to my chagrin, most of the time I didn't really ever want to do this and never really planned on it. But you guys make it worth it. You guys, Bright Eyes, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I hope you come into the space because I still have to give you the reasoning of what I was talking about the other day, and I totally forgot to do that. So we're going to keep the space going. That said, thank you guys very much. I will see you all on Monday, 5 to 7. This week, I'm trying to get 2 people as guests, and hopefully they're going to be really, really good guests. Well, I know they're going to be good guests, but let's hope I can schedule them this week. And then I'm really trying to, I don't know. I have FOMO. I just found out what FOMO means, by the way, fear of missing out. I didn't know what that means. I heard all of these people talking FOMO. And I look at the shit that's going on in Minnesota, and I have FOMO. But I don't know. We'll see what goes on with that. And I want to thank you guys. Listen, call your loved ones, reach out to your loved ones, tell them you love them. You never know when you're not going to be able to. And I will see you guys on Monday. Thank you very much.